This video is sponsored by my second channel. Stick around to the end of the video to find out more. I have the plan to react to an old video from a few years ago. I used to basically make general film and TV review videos, but a couple of those videos were Doctor Who.
Series 10 came out this year, and I kind of wanted to do a good or bad on this.
Oh, and yeah, it's in the format of good or bad, which was basically like a series I used to do on this channel. Please ignore how I look, please. I look awful in this. I don't know what I was doing with my hair. I think I used to try and slick it back, but because it's just so curly, it obviously didn't work. So it kind of goes like this, and those glasses just are not flattering for me at all. I don't know why I used to have such rectangular glasses, and this is the point where I had elastic bands pulling my teeth together. Well, that's a very flattering image of me.
It's been kind of iffy whether this series was going to be good or bad.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm on about with that. Maybe because a lot of people weren't enjoying Capaldi's first couple of series at the time, although I personally really liked Series 9. Maybe I didn't at the time.
I'm guessing this series is going to be pretty controversial, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true either, really. I don't think it was controversial. Maybe part of it was to do with Phil being an openly LGBT character or something like that.
I was quite hopeful because they was taking a year off, so I was like, that could mean that they could have a chance to write something really good. But then again, we all know that Moffat kind of took a year off to write Sherlock instead, not Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, obviously, I don't think he had his full attention on either if he was writing both at the same time. Even if he was split 50-50 between the two, or even 75% focused on Doctor Who instead of Sherlock, it's still not going to be 100% perfection at that rate, is it?
I'm going to talk about the first episode. And
even now, although I haven't watched it in years, the pilot, the first episode of Series 10 is not good. And I know exactly what I'm going to say.
I could talk about this first episode for like an hour.
This is true as well. I always find this, whenever I can talk negatively about something, I always have a lot more to say about it. I mean, I feel like that's probably true for most people. Also, as you can tell with some of these videos that I used to make, it was all one take, which is kind of how I do it now. But I didn't edit much out, and I don't think I re-recorded lines by the sounds of things, because there's a lot of my like flubs and mistakes in there.
I'm not too bothered about Bill.
Now I still would do my videos in one big take, like I'll record for like 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes, but a lot of that is redoing lines, making sure I say it in the best way possible. The first thing I do in the editing process now is I cut out all the gaps. I feel like that was intentional. I feel like it was more like a sitting down, feeling like we was kind of having a conversation, something like that. I definitely prefer how I do it now.
Even if she somehow just knows everything kind of, or just understands things kind of straight away, like for example Missy, she somehow knows, like, I'm sure the Doctor explains something about Missy to her, but she somehow is like, oh, Missy's bad, she's really evil.
Yeah, I don't know, Missy, I guess she can sometimes like trick you into thinking she's good or something, but she's a stereotypical villain. You'd be pretty daft if you didn't realise she was the villain, I guess.
They meet the creature, the puddle creature.
This is still something I have an issue with. Like, to say it's the first episode of almost like of a new series and meant to also be a jumping on point, I still can't even tell you what the story of the pilot is, but the creature itself, the creature is a puddle, and I still do find that like really disappointing for an opening episode.
The creature starts to chase them.
I do think I was a lot more comedic in my other videos as well. Like, that's not like that funny. Like, I'm not really funny, but I definitely struggle to make like some comedic jokes or just jokes at all in my videos now, which is definitely something I want to try and do. I want it to be a lot more lighthearted. There's definitely a lot of things I'm frustrated with at the Chibnall era that I could have got across in that way, in that kind of editing, that kind of comedy.
And from that point on, the rest of the episode is the Doctor and Bill running away from a monster, jumping between different planets just to run away from this monster.
And once again, this kind of links into how I said earlier about this was meant to be kind of like a jumping on point for new viewers. So I get the point of it. Like, the point of the episode probably was to show what the TARDIS can do. There's been other episodes that do that, and they do it in a lot more interesting way. I just feel like there's just not a lot there.
You know, they get in the TARDIS and then they're like, oh, it's bigger on the inside, look.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really complain about the bigger on the inside thing. They do that with every character, and they've kind of got to, because it'd be weird if a character walked into the TARDIS and was just like, yeah, this is normal. So they kind of got to do that one.
Bill, you can come away with me instead of being with the Doctor. Instead of, you know, having this guy who has a time machine and can take you anywhere you want, and you've been having really cool adventures with all this time, you can come with me instead because I'm a girl and you like girls.
Yeah, I seem to have reduced that down to a lot more than what it actually was.
Episode 2, Smile. I can't even remember.
To be fair, that's true now. I don't remember much about that episode. I just remember there's emoji robots.
Episode 3, Thin Ice.
I actually don't remember much about Thin Ice, besides, you know, like the Doctor being based against the racist character. Also as well, I mean, I still like the editing in these old videos that I have, but it's very simple with this. Like, there's no B-roll at all, which is maybe a good thing because it would have meant that the BBC wouldn't have copyright claimed it like they do to a lot of my videos that have footage in them now.
Oxygen. It was alright.
I wonder if I'm going to mention the capitalism speech that he has in this episode.
The end point of capitalism. Bottom line, where human life has no value at all. We're fighting an algorithm, a spreadsheet, like every worker everywhere.
I bet 2017 me didn't really understand much about that at the time, and now I study sociology.
And then you get to the end of the episode, it's like, no, doll, I'm still blind.
See, I need more moments like this. Like, that was funny. It wasn't a bad impression as well.
And it's so that the world can get overrun by monks.
Maybe I need to watch it again, but from what I remember, the whole reason he's still blind is so that Bill can make a deal with the monks and make him be able to see again, but then they end up taking over the world because of it, I think.
It's a really weird, kind of forced way.
I don't even know if I'd describe it as a forced way. If anything, it's too convoluted.
And they could have just done the simple way of the monks came to Earth and they wanted to rule Earth, like an invasion.
So what I'm saying is I wanted it to be a boring alien invasion story. Right, okay.
It might not be the most interesting thing ever.
No, it definitely won't be the most interesting thing ever, you're right. I remember thinking the ending was a bit daft. Yeah. What happens in the end? Because I actually don't remember. Was it one of those Moffat situations where it's like, we fix it with love? Yeah, okay, I was saying that as a mum and the monks die. Yeah, I thought it might actually have been something like that. Classic Moffat, really.
You've got the Eaters of Light. Got a bit bored with this episode.
This is like the most forgettable episode in like the whole of New Who. I could not tell you a thing that happens in Eaters of Light. Yeah, I do think that is the one where the crows speak.
And then we get to World Enough and Time, and the Doctor falls.
That was a funny joke. I didn't know I did that at the time. The Doctor falls, but he doesn't really. I'm not wrong, he doesn't.
I don't think we need another finale with Missy and the Cybermen.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Moffat immediately, he was like, right, I'm leaving the Master alone for a while. Like the 11th Doctor, at least in the show, did not meet the Master. But then as soon as the Capaldi era starts, it's like Missy in every single series. So it's kind of like he held off on it and then was like, now I just need to put the Master in every single season to make up for it. Like, calm down.
It's like an origin for the Cybermen, at least the first part of it is.
Yeah, that's what I love about this. Like, goes back to like classic Cybermen and focusing on like the body horror of it, which is like proper like freaky body horror. Like, we could have had that kind of Cyberman in like Asylum of the Daleks instead of the Daleks. It just would have made so much more sense, especially with the whole Oswald being converted. It would have made more sense if we saw Oswald being converted into one of these kind of freaky Cybermen. But I guess this was kind of Moffat making up for that mistake.
The major issue I have with it is the fact that it's set on a Mondasian ship instead of being set on Mondas. A lot of the stuff they did on the Mondasian ships would have worked really well on Mondas. You didn't need to set it on a ship, apart from the whole thing of obviously black hole slows down time.
It actually would make less sense to set it on Mondas, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
Would have also probably been better if it wasn't the finale, if it was just a two-parter Cyberman origin story, and if the second part was a little bit different.
I disagree with myself on that. Like, now I think the Doctor Falls should have been Capaldi's last episode. So what I'm basically saying is get rid of all the great stuff with the Doctor and Missy and the Master, which is like some of the best stuff in the episode. What am I on about?
They just get a load of humans to fight Cybermen.
It's like I'm almost forgetting that Missy and the Master are in this episode.
And the Doctor and Missy and the Master like falling out.
Yeah, the main best part of the episode, I've boiled down to the Doctor and Missy and the Master, they fall out. Like, what? Yeah, I seem to be hating on it. It's like I don't understand what the episode's meant to be about.
What I would have preferred is if the Doctor just regenerated at the end of this episode instead of just giving us a fake out regeneration where he starts to regenerate and then he's like, nah fam, I'm not doing that.
So I do get it. Like, what? Which is it?
And then maybe just not have a Christmas special this year.
I still agree with that now, but I feel like at the time I didn't know. Maybe everybody didn't know, I'm not sure. Chibnall didn't want to start on a Christmas special. Moffat wanted him to regenerate in the Doctor Falls, but he wanted to keep that slot and then ended up losing it anyway when Chibnall started.
Give Chris Chibnall a year to write a good series.
See, I was quite hopeful for Chibnall at this point.
Because if you haven't seen Broadchurch, watch Broadchurch.
I'd seen Broadchurch and I really liked Broadchurch.
And if you watch Broadchurch, you'll know what I mean.
Broadchurch, and the payoff for Broadchurch was great as well.
quite positive and confident that Chibnall can bring Doctor Who back to being good.
I guess I was thinking Moffat had kind of ruined Doctor Who at this point, it seems. I didn't think I was that negative on it.
Doctor Who Series 10, bad.
There we are, I gave it the rating of bad overall.
If you enjoyed this video, I do more like this on my second channel, Joey Underwood Live, where I'm basically planning on editing down any live streams and stuff that I do into their own videos. I've got another video on there at the moment where I basically make one of my thumbnails on Photoshop. If you want to watch that, you can watch that here. But if you're new to this channel and you just want to watch some Doctor Who videos, I've got them here as well.